What's up, guys? So, do you work out fasted or do you eat before you work out? Which is the best way to burn more fat? Now, there are so many contradicting theories out there as to, will you burn muscle if you lift weights without eating? Does training fasted really burn that much more fat, or does it only matter if you're in a calorie deficit? So I decided to make this video because I wanted to speak from experience with me and what I've seen as far as getting the best results and what my clients have seen, and just kind of share that knowledge with you, and then you can make your own assessment. So what I want you to do is take this information and try it out for yourself. Go a week training fasted, see how you feel. So Monday through Friday, weigh yourself on Monday morning, see what your weight is, train fasted the whole week, and then weigh yourself on, Saturday morning or Sunday morning and see what your weight did. So don't just take my word for it. Again, a lot of fitness information out there is just from personal experience. You could prove some of it scientifically, but you could also counteract that scientifically. So one thing I will always say is try it for yourself. So training fasted, what are the benefits? How does it affect your body? So one thing I found is that I drop fat like that when I train fasted. I train early in the morning, so I don't really have time to make a meal and eat. See, the problem is when you eat right before you go to the gym, is your body is using energy to digest that food, right? And every time we eat, regardless if we're eating carbs or not, we're increasing insulin. And as we know, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So it's kind of counteractive to what you're doing. You're trying to burn fat, right? So why would you want to spike insulin right before you work out? Because then your body's going to be busy digesting food and sending energy, using energy to digest that food versus using energy to get the most out of your workouts. So one thing I have found is I perform better when I am in a fasted state. So why is this? So the reason you're going to perform better in a fasted state is because when you fast, usually between 18 to 24 hours, your body increases its natural adrenaline production along with neonephrine. This is your body's fight or flight response. Like back in the day when our ancestors had to hunt and kill food, when it was like when they were getting low on fuel and low on energy, their body was like, hey dude, like you need to do something. And this is your body kind of giving you like that extra boost of energy. And a lot of people who have done fasting, like they feel this on a daily basis because it's kind of euphoric feeling. Like you get this crazy burst of energy, and it's kind of counterintuitive because you would think, you're fasted, you have low energy, you have no fuel, but your body increases neonephrine and adrenaline, and you get this like crazy kick of energy, and it becomes addictive. And that's why most people, when they start fasting, they don't want to go back to the normal way of eating because they know how great it feels. So how does all of this affect fat burning? So when you're fasted, you're increasing lipolysis. Lipolysis is the breakdown of fat. So when you're constantly eating 5-6 times a day, you're constantly increasing insulin. And again, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So what's your body doing? It's using what it needs to for fuel, for muscle glycogen, and it's taking the additional insulin, glucose, and it's putting it into your fat cells for later on, right? So when you're fasted, these fat cells are actually able to release the fat through lipolysis. And fat oxidation is the breakdown of fat. So they've done scientific studies where when you train in a fasted state, you have increased fat oxidation. So because you've been fasted, the fat was actually able to leave the cell. And now that the fat has left the cell, you experience fat oxidation through burning that fat. So this is why training in a fasted state is so powerful, and you're able to burn that much more fat because your body doesn't have anything in its stomach or any immediate fuel reserves to pull from. that's why a lot of people, like when they're hungry, they think, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my muscle, I'm gonna lose my gains. When you're hungry, that's a really good sign that you're burning fat and you're in fat burning mode, because your body is out of fuel. So what's gonna happen? It's gonna turn to its fat reserves, right? So when you're training in a fasted state and you don't have any immediate fuel to pull from, guess what? Your body is going to go right to its fat stores and start burning that fat as energy. So this is why training fasted is so powerful, because your body, isn't going to the food in your system for energy. It's going right to your fat cells. So again, and they also did a scientific study that showed blood flow was increased 2 to 3 times more when people trained fasted. And this was specifically to the abdominal area. So when you really think about it, people always say how, spot reduction is impossible, right? Like you can't burn fat from one specific area on your body. Fat loss comes throughout the whole body, right? You lose it everywhere. But this study shows that when you train in a fasted state, your abs, specifically in your stomach area, you increase blood flow 2 to 3 times more than as you would if you were just eating normally. So think about it this way. The most optimal times to train when you're trying to burn the most amount of fat is when your insulin levels are at baseline. And your insulin levels are most at baseline when it's not digesting food. So you want to be in a fasted state when you train. This is going to allow you to get the most fat burning benefit you possibly can. So if getting lean and getting ripped and losing the most amount of fat in the fastest amount of time possible is your goal, then you should be doing fasted training. I do it every day, especially when I want to cut fat really, really quick, and the benefits are amazing. So again, just some takeaway tips. Train fasted. Don't have anything to eat immediately before your workout. And even after your workout, try to go another hour or two post-workout. You don't have to have that immediate, after workout shake. You're not going to lose your gains. The only time you lose muscle mass is if you're fasting over a period of 72 hours. This is intermittent fasting. We're not fasting for 3 days. So a lot of people say, well, I'm going to lose all my muscle mass if I train fasted. No, you're not. If you're doing resistance training, you have nothing to worry about. Your body is not going to break down muscle that quickly. We've survived millions of years, and our ancestors didn't just lose all their muscle in one day because they didn't eat every 3 hours. Like, it's such a silly idea when you really think about it. So again, try it out, see how you do. If you like this video, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe link if you want to see more videos like this. You can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Facebook. So everything is below. And if you haven't taken my body type quiz yet, go ahead, check it out, and figure out your body type. And I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.